2022 has been a great year for movies. We have gotten a lot of wonderful things, but also a lot of shit. But in this video we are going to focus on the good things, because what's good on hating everything all the time? So, to whom it may concern, these are my 10 favorite movies of 2022. But before we get into them, let's look at some honorific mentions, because why not? Watcher, an aesthetically pleasing paranoid feature with a killer Micah Monroe. All Quiet on the Western Front, a very much needed look into one of my least favorite movie genres ever. Top Gun Maverick, a fun, emotional, well-shot ride that I wish I had watched in theaters when I had the chance. Men, definitely a movie. I don't really know what I saw, but I really liked it. God's Creatures, a compelling exploration of how far a mother can go to protect her children. Bones and All, mete cuchillo, salen las tripas, but utterly traumatizing. Not Okay, a movie that I did not expect to love as much as I did. X, a well-done slasher with some great characters and killer kills. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, a beautifully animated and highly impacting movie that left Disney's Pinocchio on the trash. She Said, a very powerful movie with a wonderful performances and a magnificent handling of its main theme. The Apology, a simple, small movie that makes the most of what it has, delivering some real haunting scenes and an excellent performance from Anna Gunn, who I would love to see more in the future. Nope, a great movie with good performances and a handful of unforgettable scenes. Bodies, 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 a fun as fuck movie with some of my favorite characters and dialogue from the year. So those were the honorific mentions, and before starting with the actual list, I guess I must make it clear that I am not a film critic. All the movies you're about to see are placed based on my personal taste, and if you don't agree with my list, that's 100% totally, completely, absolutely fine. We can all have our own opinions and points of view, each and one of them is valid. Unless Blonde is like your favorite movie of the year, in that case your opinion is not valid and go to a psychiatrist. I should also remark that I have not seen every single movie released this year, because that's kinda impossible and I'm a lazy ass bitch. So yeah, without much ado, let's get into it. Number 10. Pleasure. The movie is technically a 2021 film, but it was released in the US in 2022, and even though I don't even live there, I'm going to use that fact to include it in this list. From the moment this movie started, I was overwhelmed, truly uncomfortable from beginning to end. And that's when I realized, oh shit, this movie is going at it, zero barriers and no sugarcoating. This movie is honest, and that makes it really horrifying, because the porn industry is something that can be seriously sick and tormented. It can really fuck up the minds of the people who do it, specifically the women and every single person who watches it and consumes it like candy. In one scene, when our protagonist films a very rough scene, she feels really overwhelmed and scared, and she doesn't want to do it. And the man behind the camera is sort of like reassuring. He tells her, don't be afraid, take your time, do you want water? You know, like, you knew what you came here to do, right? You chose this. Like trying to build this false sense of security just to convince her into wrapping up the scene and not to actually make her feel more comfortable. To then show his true colors and fully gaslight her into doing what he wants her to do. That scene was one of the most terrifying things I have seen, more terrifying than any horror movie I have seen this year. This movie shows you what the porn industry is, and lets you decide if it's really good for yourself and your mental being. Sofia Capel gives an incredible performance as Linnea, whose journey navigating this turbulent industry will leave you nauseous. A great movie that I will never ever see again. Thank you. Next. Number 9. Los Reyes del Mundo. This movie feels like some sort of mix between La Vendedora de Rosas and Monos, and to those who have seen both films know that the result from that is not particularly pretty. The movie tells the story of 5 homeless Colombian teenagers from Medellin who traveled through the extensive Antioquia department in search for a piece of land that was inherited to one of them. In this journey, our group will encounter the very best that this country has to offer to those in a vulnerable state. This movie left me completely empty. It is a harsh look at a situation where the system finds itself once again oppressing the have-nots more than those in positions of power. It was beautifully filmed and acted. It's on Netflix if you may want to see it. Number 8. Deadstream. That stream was fucking bonkers and I loved it. This movie was genuinely scary. The setting and the execution of the found footage format was fantastic. And our main protagonist was pretty funny. It was very entertaining seeing this pathetic fuck trying to rebuild his reputation and gain relevance again. The scares were really well made and it was horrible because I made the awful decision of watching this home alone at night, which I guess really contributed to the experience. I also did not expect this movie to be fucking hilarious from start to finish. It was great. The monster demons or whatever that appeared throughout the movie looked great, fantastical makeup work. And the stream element from the movie was very well utilized, specifically the part where our protagonist Sean interacted with his fans on these videos and they all just completely lash out on his poor decision making. It was so funny. I love this movie. Some parts had me covering my eyes from the intense fear that I was feeling. Really cool shit, definitely. Number 7. After Sun. This movie makes you wonder if you really knew your parents. Who they were, the things they were going through, their conflicts, their inner feelings. All of these things can be invisible through childhood lens. All those problems that our parents always try to hide away, which in most cases, it's easy. Because their complexity sometimes surpass the understanding of a child, whose mind is still too young to fully understand, being naive to it all. Just like how Sophie was naive to her father's depression. As children, we may see something that cannot be more distant from what's actually going on. It also explores that feeling that maybe you will never be fully able to comprehend all of those things that cause conflict in your parents, leaving a mystery that will probably resonate with you for a long time. Or maybe even forever. After Sun was beautiful, and it really stayed with me. Paul Mescal and Frankie Corio were magnificent, and I'm really excited to see what Charlotte Wells does next. Number 6. Si Dios fuera mujer. This documentary told the story of Laura, a 9-year-old Colombian trans girl living in Spain and her path to who she is today. This documentary was made by Laura's cousin Angelica Cervera, and this film brings some insightful story that shares a perspective that we just don't get very often. The things that represent Laura and who she is, but also her parents and their journey through denial, deconstruction, acceptance, and subsequently utter support for their daughter. This is definitely a movie that a lot of parents and those kinds of people in general need to see. They need to watch something that steps out of what they're used to see, like Fox News or whatever. This movie is a real representation of what it's like to be you. It's a whole process, but it all comes down to your happiness and real authenticity that embraces diversity from a genuine standpoint. Number 5. Pearl. This movie made me feel deeply miserable. Mia Goth delivers an absolutely magnificent performance. She does so much and it's really admirable how she's able to keep up with all of it and never step down. Pearl is one of the most interesting characters of the year. Her 8-minute monologue was one of the most heartbreaking things I've seen. Seeing her realize how much regret she feels at the things she has done to her family left me at tears. She is an enormous outgoing soul that wants everything but will get nothing. In those final 2 minutes where the credits roll while she's crying, we can notice that she is aware of that. Damn. Number 4. The Fallout. So technically, once again, The Fallout is a 2021 movie because it premiered on South by Southwest on March 2021. But I don't care, it was released in January 2022, so whatever. This movie makes a very realistic look at trauma and how it can affect not only the person who experienced it, but also the people around them. Seeing Beta's family react to the aftermath of the incident was really touching, and I really like that the movie expresses how differently people deal with trauma, and doesn't treat it as a non-existent thing that goes away, but more like something that you can indeed treat and fight but will always stick to you for the rest of your life. Jenna Ortega delivers what I think is her best performance. She gave Beta a lot of nuanced personality. Maddie Ziegler was also incredible. Seeing these two actresses that I had admired for so long do so well makes me very happy. The Fallout was the directorial debut of Megan Park, who also wrote the screenplay. I really loved that she didn't just use the sensitive subject as an exploitative, shallow, insulting way of telling a story, but more like as a way of portraying with heart and nuance something that sadly a lot of people went and will continue to go through. Number 3. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I love this movie way too much. At first, when I found out about its existence, I thought it was the most random sequel ever. When I saw it in theaters, me and my best friend were actually intending to go see Megan on one screening at 2:50 p.m. But we both are unpunctual bitches and we got late, and we didn't want to wait until the next screening, which was at 5:30 p.m. So we decided to watch Puss in Boots instead. And honey, let me tell you, best decision we have ever made in our entire fucking lives. This movie was so much fun, and it also had no business being as emotionally affecting as it was. I loved every single one of the characters. This little perro right here made me cry so much. I thought I was gonna hate him and find him annoying, but no, I didn't. He was so cute. Everyone's conflicts in this movie were really moving, and although the resolutions were really predictable, they were still really impactful and excellently done nonetheless. I fucking love the ending. I love Perrito. Have I already said that I love Perrito? I really like these kinds of surprises. Entering a movie expecting nothing but getting everything. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is all I could ever ask for, and I really can't wait to see what else they do with these characters in the upcoming movie of the Shrek franchise. Number 2. Everything Everywhere All at Once. This movie might be probably the best film of the year. I think it's simply perfect. From the moment I saw the trailer more than a year ago on December 25th, 2021, I just knew it was going to be incredible. This movie was released on March 28th in the United States, but I had to wait until June 23rd for it to be released in Colombia. The amount of internet pirouettes I had to do in order to avoid spoilers was insane. I got the chance to watch this in theaters with my best friends, and we all had a fucking blast. This is the funniest movie of the whole fucking year. From Jobo Tupaki beating the shit out of a police officer with a pair of dildos, Jenny Slate using her dog as a literal weapon, two guys fighting for sticking a trophy deep on their asses, the amount of pure nonsense present here was just hilariously spectacular. I laughed so much that it genuinely hurt. This movie had no business being as funny as it was, and not only was funny, it was also very fucking moving. Evelyn's conflict with all of her family members was really well done. The whole thing on finding meaning in the meaningless literally changed my life. This movie is just excellent. The fighting like you scene made me cry like a bitch. The hot dog finger scene made me cry like a bitch. Jobu Tupaki / Joy and Evelyn in general made me cry like a bitch. Even the fucking Ratatouille ripoff spin-off whatever made me cry like a bitch. I fucking loved this movie. Every single part of it, the editing, the fight scenes, the special effects, the acting, all of that was just phenomenal in every way, shape or form. Reading about how much this role meant to Michelle Yeoh just makes my heart happy. I'm very pleased with every nomination that this movie got at the Oscars, and I hope it wins some of them. I jumped from joy when I saw that Stephanie Hsu got nominated for Best Supporting Actress after being severely snubbed on the Golden Globes. But whatever, I really hope she wins. And my biggest surprise is seeing that Mitski is now an Oscar nominated singer. This Is Alive was dead ass my favorite song of 2022. Mitski and David Byrne were wonderful together, and Son Lux did an excellent job with this song and the score from the movie. I will be very happy if they win. And Ki Hui Kwan and Jamie Lee Curtis also receiving nominations. I love it! I love them so much, they deserve everything. And also, Jobu Tupaki is a motherfucking fashion icon. She literally has the most incredible, absolutely creative outfits I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. Like, I aspire to have this level of style, and I'm really glad this was also acknowledged at the Academy, which this is like the first time in my entire life that I'm actually invested in seeing the Oscars. Not just because of the movie, but because like all the other picks are actually really strong. So yeah. Number 1, Fresh. I fucking loved this film. Is this me saying that Fresh is the best movie of the year? No, not even close, but it is my favorite movie of the whole fucking year. Where do I start? The performances are amazing. Daisy Edgar-Jones was incredible. I'm really happy she had a great year. And oh my god, the love of my life, Sebastian Stan. He was absolutely great as Steve, very terrifying and scary, just incredible. And Jojo T. Gibbs did an amazing job as Molly, aka the great, iconic, brave friend we all need in our lives. This movie is very well directed. I was an hour and 30 minutes into it and I was really enjoying it. The soundtrack was fantastic and very well distributed. The movie looked gorgeous. I was like, yeah, this movie will definitely be at least on my top 15. But then the final 20 minutes happened and oh my god. I personally love to suffer. I think suffering is one of the most awakening feelings a human can ever experience, and those final 20 minutes made me suffer so much. I almost puked my heart out for the amount of stress, horror, and anguish that I was feeling. My heart hadn't beat that hard since I don't even know when. Most of the times I watch films on my phone laying down. Sometimes when the things get exciting I sit down, but that last part made me fucking jump onto the roof on the amount of anxiety that I got. I loved every second of it. This is why I live. I love when movies make me react like that. For a moment I thought about leaving this movie off the list because some of my favorite reviewers really did not like it, and that's totally fine, but I made some New Year goals of having a fucking mind of my own. And you know what? The world is not fucking ending because a random ass bitch decided to place Fresh on the top of their list. And if I said that I did not rewatch this 7 times and enjoy it and suffer the fuck out of it, I will be lying to your faces. This movie is an icon. This movie is a legend, and this movie is the motherfucking moment, and if you do not agree, that's totally fine. Good for you. So yeah, that was my list. I hope I expressed myself properly. Did you agree with it or did you have some disagreements? Let me know in the comments, and while you're at it, leave your own list because why not? So yeah, whatever. This was the video. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like, subscribe, and all that crap. God bless you, and goodbye.